Danny, how long have we been hearing little murmurs about before Connor Stallions was even out here, the Brent Venables,
this goes way back.
Yeah. The Brent Venables sign awareness.
This goes back to Clemson.
Yes. This has been going on for a long time. Lane Kiffin just coming and laying it out. Before we start to get into the X's and O's on the field, what do you make about this Lane Kiffin offensive guru against Brent Venables defensive mastermind? All the trickeration, game planning, play calling, pass the chalk. How do you like this matchup here with Ole Miss and Oklahoma?
I love it. I think it's a great chess match that's going to take place. I love that Lane, as only Lane can do, kind of laid it out there. Kind of you say something, you're like, well, I wasn't really saying. I just, like you kind of have it, but you don't. Thought it was great. I did see an account went and tried to find the play that they thought they were talking about because there was a safety that shot
safety that took the slant away, right?
That play could be really good recognition too, because it's not that uncommon. There was like a Mike Sam blitz. It is your hot read as the quarterback to throw one of those slants. So it's not that crazy to think that it could be really good recognition as well. Just to throw that in there. Doesn't mean that they had the signals.
Oklahoma's got great safeties too, like high IQ.
Exactly.
Good,
they're some of the best that are out there. And Brent Venables is a great coach. So it could be that too. I do think Lane will use other signals. But this is why the helmet communications are in place. Like, why use any signals at all? If you're worried about them, just use the helmet comms. I get lines, checks at the line of scrimmage, stuff like that. But I think this is a great matchup. I think you'll see Ole Miss score some points against Oklahoma. I'm more worried about the other side of the matchup. Like from Ole Miss's perspective, their defense has been struggling. Oklahoma's offense has not been much to speak of. They've been highly inconsistent. Mateer's been a little bit erratic with the football. I think they might be able to just run all over Ole Miss's defense. That to me is because I think Lane will
Oklahoma
have
run game though.
Right. So, but if you need an opportunity to get right, I think it's against Ole Miss's defense.
I think Ole Miss's defense is a hell of a lot better than Oklahoma's offense. Maybe that's an exaggeration. Maybe it's more.
Stick with the Bud. Keep going.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just meaningfully better. But like I trust Ole Miss's defense more than I trust this Oklahoma offense overall. Like who scares you on this OU offense? Mateer, when he plays YOLO ball, can make some awesome things happen, but he struggles to play on schedule, just like he did last year at Washington State. He's really kind of the same player, same offense, same player. Like he's not better than he was last year, and the competition is better. So, man, if you're Ole Miss, you're like, if we can score 24, we feel great about winning this ball game, right?
Yeah,
I would think. Or, well, maybe not
34?
Great. 27, 20, no, 24.
Oh, no.
Oklahoma's offense is bad. But maybe 27 you feel great. Maybe 24 you just feel good.
I don't know. Like, I went into this matchup thinking, like, you saw the spread, and I'm just like, wow, that's a lot of points to give to Ole Miss. But honestly, the further I've dug into it, the more I kind of understand it. Because, I don't think Oklahoma's offense is any good. I do think, like, I made the joke the other day about how Oklahoma, LSU, and Texas are all the same team. I think it was somewhat unfair to Oklahoma just because I do think with John Mateer, at least they have a guy who can make something happen out of nothing, whereas I feel like LSU and Texas right now don't. And OU has definitely struggled to run the ball, but this is an Ole Miss defense that is absolutely atrocious against the run. They rank 127th in EPA per rush allowed. So that's not good. So if there is a moment for OU to have any kind of success on the ground, it would be in this game. That doesn't mean I think they're going to have it, but mostly it's just defensively, I think this team is so good that I don't really have a ton of faith in the Ole Miss offense. Like, I know Lane's going to be able to scheme some stuff up, but like when I was watching Ole Miss versus Georgia last week, the one thing that kind of just thought I had that kind of struck me was I can't see a difference in Trinidad Chambliss and Gunnar Stockton. To me, they're the same exact player, but they're discussed in very different ways because I think Chambliss came out of nowhere. He wasn't the starter to begin the season, whereas Stockton we knew coming in and we were kind of had low expectations for him. And I think Stockton has exceeded his expectations And Chambliss is getting a ton of credit for exceeding the expectations that Stockton's not. Anyway, I'm getting off point here. I just don't – I need to see Trinidad Chambliss against this defense. And this is a very, 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 very good Oklahoma defense. Like, they are first in defensive success rate. They are second in points allowed per drive, trailing only Ohio State, which is, an incredible elite defense. They lead the nation in pressure rate. They lead the nation in sack rate. They're going to be at home. This is going to be Trinidad Chambliss on the road going up against this defense. And he has shown to me, like, when he gets under pressure, he makes mistakes. And I think that we are very likely to see some of those mistakes. So even if Oklahoma's offense isn't great, I think they might be handed a short field or two in this one. And they probably will be able to take advantage of it, because the one thing about this Sooners defense or offense, they really struggled to move the ball. But when they do and they get into the scoring area, they finish at a very high rate. Like, in points per red zone possession, they're scoring 5.35. That's the fourth best in the country. So they finish drives well once they get into that scoring area. And I think that they might get a few of those spots. Like, I do not think this is going to be high scoring. And I think if you're Ole Miss, you want it to be high scoring. That's just the kind of way to play. So if this is going to be like a styles make fights kind of situation, I think Oklahoma has a better chance to dictate the style of this fight, which will go against what we've seen from Ole Miss. Because when Ole Miss is at its best, that's not the style it plays.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. This is very similar to me from what we saw with LSU Ole Miss, right? I mean, you have a pretty, like, both of them I'd say are bottom half of the Power Five in terms of offense, but meaning Oklahoma and LSU. You both have, at least in my numbers, like, both are top 5 defenses in the country, like, really good defenses. I think LSU was a little more banged up going into that game. Nussmeier didn't look right. And remember, we had the left tackle go down in warmups there for LSU, which might have put them kind of off kilter. The big difference is, how do you handle the road, right? I mean, this is the second straight road trip into a hostile environment for Ole Miss. Oklahoma coming off a fairly easy win at South Carolina. Like, if you flipped home and away for Ole Miss LSU, are we still picking Ole Miss? Probably not, but maybe so with the injuries that LSU had in that game. I mean, it's like, hey, can Mateer do enough? Because I don't think Ole Miss is going to score like mid-30s. I don't think it's going to kind of shoot out. Can Mateer, like, avoid doing the dumb stuff? And do we think Ole Miss's run defense is, like, it's not good, but are we sure it's that bad, or is it simply, like, permissive? Are they just really focused on denying the explosive play, and so they're going to give you some of the run stuff?
There's certainly a level of permissiveness to it, yes.
Okay.
I think somebody at the tailgate earlier said, our bend but don't break looked like a popsicle stick against Georgia. So, the ideal Ole Miss defense is bend but don't break. But if you can't get those red zone stops, it's not going to be, worth a whole lot here. Obviously, so Austin Simmons was the quarterback for the Kentucky game, right? And we've got an extremely small sample size. This is just the third road game of the season for Ole Miss, but we do see our completion percentage drop from 65.4% at home to 53.3% on the road. Rushing numbers go down, and pass defense also impacted negatively. And pass defense is the one that stands out to me because we're including Kentucky in that sample set. So, the small sample size, but also Kentucky sample size. It is going to be, I think the environment is a monumental challenge. Second straight road game, get this team refocused. You were just right there in the game against Georgia. You end up coming up short in Athens. And man, one thing about Oklahoma and its move to the SEC is it has given us a lot more big games in Norman. Like those, not to go all Florida State on this, talking about like your opponents and selling tickets and home environments, but like you're getting a top 15 team in town in late October. That didn't always happen in the old days. And so I'm excited to see that up and going for the Sooners. Yes.
I know we have Bud here, so we don't have to do it in his voice, but who's the best offense or quarterback that Oklahoma's faced?
Bryce Underwood.
Underwood.
The best quarterback.
In his first big road start.
start.
I think it's going to be a good test.
Like, do you think Chambliss is better than Bryce Underwood?
No.
As a college quarterback right now, yes.
I don't.
Interesting. Okay.
I do.
I think Trinidad Chambliss is a Jag plus.
I think that Lane Kiffin's a way better coach than Sherrone Moore and that offensive staff at Michigan.
I think there's going to be a lot in this game. My expectation is lower scoring. And that means that John Mateer, Trinidad Chambliss, hero ball time. And that's going to lead to mistakes potentially. That's going to lead to incredible plays. That Oklahoma pass rush is ferocious. Does Chambliss have the awareness and the escapability to know where to go with the football or when to take off and run? Because Chambliss can't, either one of these quarterbacks can be the difference maker in terms of being able to make something happen when you're being overwhelmed, because Oklahoma running the football is a negative in my eyes. Oklahoma's offensive line against SEC opponents is probably a negative. And so what can Mateer, we know, can do some stuff off schedule. Chambliss as well, I think, does a good job of being able to take off and run.
Something I ran out of time this morning when I was doing research on this game, but I wanted to look into, so I'll throw it out here to you guys in the chat. How has Venables done against the veer and shoot Brile stuff? Because, like, that's still in Kiffin's repertoire, right? Like, I know they faced Tennessee last year. Tennessee hit some explosive plays and beat them, even when Tennessee's offense was not very good. Oklahoma blitzes a lot. Like, even though OU to me has the best D-line probably in the country, but certainly in the discussion. And I think it's the best that Ole Miss will have faced. I mean, Georgia would crawl over broken glass to have the guys that OU has this year. LSU is pretty good. And when I look at this, I mean, how much blitzing is Oklahoma going to do to Ole Miss? And in anticipation of such, do we think Ole Miss spreads the field wider? Like kind of like they used to do when Lane was running a little bit more of that stuff, just so you have to kind of declare from depth and width where you're coming from. That was kind of one of the advantages of spreading the field that much. It makes it a little bit harder to blitz. So I'm curious to see, how much do they do that? Chambliss, though, does not have some kind of crazy arm. So if you're OU and you say, okay, you can spread the field like that, but we're going to make sure that, like, we're going to really dare you to make some of those throws that the receiver splits suggest you're willing to make.
A quick look up of the stats here. I would not blitz Trinidad Chambliss. He had done really well when blitzed. It's when he's not blitzed that he comes back down to earth.
Right. Lane was in his bag anticipating those LSU blitzes, for sure. Georgia dropped a lot of guys second half.
It's only 58 dropbacks compared to 124 when not. But it's just like just reading off the basic stats, his passer efficiency is 202.9 when blitzed. It's 135.8 when not. His touchdown rate is 10.2% when blitzed. It's 2.6 when not. Of course, the touchdown rate does rise against blitzes because you typically get a lot of man-on-man.
To answer the Google question, is this a play-out game? Is this an elimination game for the loser?
No. The loser faces a win-out proposition.
Yeah. Like, you're both in trouble if you lose this game. But
especially
you're not
with
completely
the opponents
eliminated yet.
More trouble for Oklahoma because I think there's more opponents that you are going to have a tougher time with. But
for sure,
Ole Miss just lost its first game, and I think either one of these teams at 10-2 has a good shot at making the college football playoff.
If Ole Miss,
who has Ole Miss beaten? If they don't have the non-con, they don't have a non-con schedule. Who is their most impressive win? LSU? Who that ranking is a total fraud.
It doesn't matter. If you're a 10-2 SEC team, you're going to get in.
I think probably right, but it shouldn't be that way.
This might matter.
Yeah.
Like okay, it might not, but it probably should. There's a real chance that Ole Miss will not have a win. LSU's probably going to they're not going to miss a bowl.
No.
Buddy, Ole Miss, LSU might beat Texas A&M. We're going to get to that game next, but like this.
Yeah, but more likely, we're talking about Brian Kelly on like the scorchingest of scorched seats when they lose to A&M and Bama. Both of them have new coaches who were hired after, Brian Kelly was hired. Like,
right.
And that'd be LSU on what, a 4-game losing streak? Or do they have a win mixed in between Ole Miss and
Ole Miss would be like Texas last year.
Or no, they'd be like Tennessee. Tennessee was 10-2 with like not a huge. They beat Alabama, but
Texas
Alabama
did not have a ranked win at the end of the season.
No.
Yeah.
But they only had one loss, and they lost in the SEC championship game.
Right.
If Ole Miss loses, though, it makes Florida's hiring process a lot easier because then they have to play a first-round game, which they probably won't be favored in.
That
for Oklahoma,
doesn't
if
push
they
it to the
lose,
second
I know we
weekend,
say
yeah.
they're still, but like some of these, I think you have to look at from the perspective of if you can't win this game, you're not going to be able to win out. Like that's the way I look at it for Oklahoma.
I like that. That's a competitive. Yeah. I'm all about competitiveness. Let's go.
Right.
You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say Oklahoma won't win out.
Way to go on the limb.
Just taking a stand here.
Which that's brave of you. You
Thank
know,
you.
Who is more likely to create explosives in this game? Because I don't think either team is going to do a great job of sustaining drives.
Ole Miss will do a better job scheming them up. John Mateer will do a better job just making them happen.
Yeah.
I like that.